Flegs, did you just teabag your computer, bro? We're live. What was that?
Barry's not making an appearance.
I mean, can't say that for sure.
I did talk to a couple of my friends back home about the idea of Barry because they really liked it so far, what we've been talking about on the podcast. And they said that if you literally did like a split personality on stage.
Yes.
So there's a stand-up comedian out of Wisconsin. Maybe you guys have heard of him, Charlie Barons. He does like the Manitowoc Minute. He like sounds like a big Youper guy. I could send you clips. But anyways, like he doesn't talk like a Youper all the time, but he has this character that he plays once in a while. So they resonated that to I guess what you could do, where you could talk like normal Marco, and then you'd be like, well, I am kind of craving Starbucks or something stupid like that, and then just lead into your Barry.
Well, when you're doing your intro, just bring it up. And I already have something I was going to say anyways.
Oh, to just bring up the Barry thing?
Yeah, when you introduce yourself.
Well, do you want me to say it's Barry, or do you want me to say it's Marco?
Both. You can
Marco,
say
a.k.a. Barry.
Yeah, that way. And then I got something for that.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, Marco. Smile. All right, let's roll, TA.
You are...
Oh, okay, fine. Fuck it. We don't need to go do it now.
Influential minds in our field by sharing our
You might want to start that over.
When you muted yourself, you muted the music.
I did not realize that.
Good call on the coffee.
You are now tuned in to this week's episode of our podcast. Today we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field. By sharing our collective expertise, we will show you how to harness, control, and use your own skill set to achieve ultimate success and live the life you want. And now, please welcome your host.
All right, welcome on back, everybody, to the Anomalies podcast. I think it's episode 33, but who's counting? I'm your host, Tanner Johnson, up here in Wisconsin. With me, as always, we got TA, Tyler Allen, out in Nebraska. I think I just saw him chugging a Mountain Dew. And at the same time, I saw a friend of the show, Flegs. Were you chugging like a giant mug of beer? You guys are doing that in like synchronized fashion. That was really cool. Believe it or not, our other co-host, Marco / Barry, don't know who it is tonight. We're going to find out. I didn't see him chugging a White Claw, so I was a little proud / disappointed. Can you speak to that, Marco or Barry, whoever we got with us tonight?
Hola, my llama's name is Barry. And I'm drinking vodka with Sprite Zero. Because I'm a classy bitch.
I was not prepared for that. Tyler, you got to clip that. Oh, man. Well, that was fun. So I just want to start this episode off with a little bit of an update, a little bit of news. If you guys haven't noticed, for everyone listening, Trashman Ronnie, he hasn't been with us last couple of times. He's just got busy stuff going on at home. He's doing big things in the trash world. He's gonna be missing a little bit. He's gonna focus on that stuff. We're fully supporting him. He's still part of the show. He's still gonna be contributing, just more behind the scenes. Obviously, we wish him well. This isn't goodbye. This is just he's got to do some real world shit. We're fortunate enough to have some extra time to be. But in exciting news, we are going to welcome on Jonathan Flegel, at JJ Flegel as a co-host. So it'll be the four of us, kind of as your main keys to this. And then obviously the revolving door of friends we have in the Anomalies crew and any guests we can manage fine. So welcome aboard, Flegs. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Standing room only applause, I see. Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
They papered the room.
It's a cheap room.
Yeah, cheap laughs. I'm
So,
okay.
Flegs, what are you gonna bring to the Anomalies as a co-host? I know you've only been on 6 times already, so this isn't anything new for you.
Nah, nothing new. Hopefully, just a little bit of insights, a little bit of a different take, and maybe contributing to a little bit of a Barry talk, and just try to have a good time with some internet friends, right?
That's pretty much all we did. Just so everyone knows, when we asked Flegs to jump in and fill some shoes, he said a resounding yes, and then he immediately followed up with, "Can we still talk shit about Ronnie?"
First and foremost, we always
in true Anomalies fashion.
If and when you are listening to this, just get ready for the ricochet shots, because that's just our way of saying we're thinking about you. We miss you already, and I'm sure
go
that
fuck yourself.
greasier than ever. And just like Fleg said, go fuck yourself. Which it really has become a term of endearment in the Anomalies group chat. It was Brian's birthday, I don't know, just a couple days ago. And I think like 3 or 4 of you, before saying happy birthday, told him to go fuck himself.
I was definitely the initiator of that one for sure. So I think it was Ronnie who initiated me into that as well. He's the one who shared that was a term of endearment versus me actually fornicating myself.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, Ronnie. Thank you.
Yeah, he's gonna have an impact on this, whether he's here or not. Speaking of an impact, I want to get this out of the way because I know someone just freshly watched this.
Look at that transition. Shit.
Yeah, that's what the host does, right? Smooth transitions. I asked Marco over the weekend if he caught the UFC fights. Obviously, our big UFC super fan. And, well, Barry, what exactly happened this weekend during the UFC fights?
Well, I know that you watched it, and Tyler, did you end up watching it?
I only caught co-main and main. I did not watch the rest of the card.
I mean, that's all I really want to talk about anyways, was the main. I want to get your guys' takes on it, and then I will give mine.
I'll start off and say I did not have a chance to watch it. So
thanks for sharing.
Yeah, let's hear what you got to think.
Go ahead, Tanner.
I really liked that main event. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know much about that Dominic Reyes whatsoever. I was really impressed. Jones came out, I thought, kind of flat, or maybe that's just how I perceived it. Marco's probably going to correct me there, but I just didn't think he had that same spark as he normally did. I don't know. It just didn't look like he had that swagger or confidence in the first couple rounds. I thought I was really entertained though. I really liked the first 3 rounds, and I think Reyes for sure had the first 2. I think they ended up giving him the third one by a very narrow margin. But I thought Jones did, definitely dominate the last 2 well enough to earn that victory. I didn't have a problem with it, but I definitely could have I could have saw it going both ways. I know that's about as gray and neutral of an answer as possible, but that's just me as a casual fan saying I was really fucking entertained and I really liked it.
what a vanilla take.
Truly, it is. I usually have a little more flair, but I was just really entertained.
Tyler?
I think it all came down to who you thought won round 2. Because I thought round 2 was the absolute toss-up of the fight. I thought Reyes won 1 and 3, and Jones definitely won 4 and 5. But I had Dominic Reyes winning that barely, but I could see the argument the other way. That's what I think is what it came down to. It's just like, and also, what did you gather, Marco, from the rules? Apparently, they weren't the unified rules in Texas.
Yeah, that's a question I wanted to ask you guys too.
So what happened was, I got a new job offer on Saturday morning, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So Saturday was a day of celebration, bitches, and it started at lunch. And, me and Bree wanted to go out and celebrate my new job. And we had a couple of drinks at lunch. And then we're like, well, we got a pregame for the fight. So we went to the bar for a while. And then we went to my buddy's house. And I picked up a 12-pack of Bud Light seltzers. And I found Barry.
So
Barry doesn't watch MMA. Only Marco watches MMA.
I got to tell you, I don't remember any of the main event. So I'm not sure what rules we're talking about right now because I didn't, until today, for the first time, watch the Jon Jones fight for the second time.
Okay, it's confusing the way you could have said.
So, I was physically present while they were on Saturday. However, what I saw today was the first time I saw that shit. So, what rules are we talking about?
Apparently, they go by a different set of rules, not the unified rules.
Yeah, I guess in Texas, and they named 2 other states, but
they have to have a fiddle in the band.
Well, right. Yeah, okay. I'm surprised you even get that reference. What the hell are they saying? Fuck me up. Oh,
in Texas.
Apparently, like Texas, they don't follow the newest version of the rules or unified rules. And it was explained, and you guys can step in, but they don't give points or they still award points for like backing your opponent up or like
okay. So
dominating the cage.
The aggressiveness.
Yes.
Apparently in the unified rules they don't do that, and I didn't know this, so I'm just repeating what I heard. But in the Texas rules or the older rules, I guess they still do, which people argued that is why Jon Jones got so many points as he did in the second, I believe.
And that is okay. Let me back up. So I saw all the outrage and shit on yesterday and today, and everybody just up in arms about how Dominic Reyes got robbed. So I went into this tonight fully expecting to be like, you know what? Maybe this was the one time that Jon actually did get beat. And, the first round, like you said, he was a little slow. Like, it was weird because it was almost like ring rust slow, but it hasn't been that long since he fought.
Okay, that's truly what I thought I was seeing.
But the other thing is nobody, maybe more importantly, nobody has ever been that aggressive with Jon. Not even like Daniel Cormier is a slow starter, but nobody's been that aggressive and can kind of like I 1,000% give that first round to Dominic Reyes. I think he threw him around. He was very aggressive, landed a lot of great shots. But for me, and now that you say that, I think that is the reason he won the second round. And he landed 6 more shots, so I have the breakdown of it. The second round was 21 shots by Jones to 27 by Dominic Reyes. So in strikes alone, I could see how Dominic Reyes would have won that round, but he was backing up the entire round. He was backing up.
Makes sense.
Jon was more aggressive. I actually also thought Jon won the third round based on the same assumption, and that was a little bit closer. That was 19 for Jon, 23 for Dominic, so that was only 4 strikes off. Plus, I think Jon was just more aggressive, and then I think he won the 4th and 5th. So I think a lot of what came of this is the hatred people have for Jon Jones, because it's weird, and I don't understand like how our culture works, because and I don't think this is a racial thing. It's just going to end up looking that way. People like Conor McGregor can make all these mistakes. He can like achieve superstardom and be an everybody's favorite fighter, and he can make all these mistakes and do all these things wrong. And I think a lot of people took him back after this last fight with Cowboy. They saw that he changed his persona. They saw that he was trying to be humble again. He showed a lot of respect for Cowboy, and people were kind of starting to jump back on that bandwagon. Jon was in a similar boat. And he's been the champion for 10 years. Like, he was 23 years old, He became the champ. He's stayed a champ since then, except for, the stupid shit that he does. So it just seems like people are having a harder time accepting Jon back than they do Conor. And I think the other problem is Jon made the bigger mistakes. Like he got in a car accident and he ran from the scene and he hit a pregnant lady and he had cocaine in the car. The thing in New York, he hit a telephone pole and he was hammered. He got a DUI. There's just like thing after thing after thing with Jon. So I don't know if it's just going to take time for people to accept that he's, back, and because he appears to be a different Jon. He's not. He also appears to be like he's trying to be humble. He says, "The bad days are behind me," or I can't remember what he quoted on. He says something on Twitter. So it just seems like it's going to take a little bit longer for people to accept Jon back. But I think he won that fight. He said that he would give Dominic the rematch. I think the rematch would go even more in Jon's favor. And I think Dominic will come in as the favorite on that fight, so I would definitely bet money on that one because he's been in there with him, he's seen it. The only thing that Dominic Reyes did in the first round that he stopped doing was he kept, and this is what I told you guys before, he does not do well with leg kicks. In the first round, Dominic Reyes landed a ton of leg kicks, and he was flustering him, and he was landing shots, but every round after that he couldn't really land them, and that's how the last dude, what was his name? Freaking not Anthony Smith, but the other one. Anyways, the last guy he fought, he landed a ton of leg kicks on him, and it seemed to slow Jon. Thiago Santos, it slowed him down. So if they rematch, I think Jon will win that one too. Outside of that, what else is there? I mean, who else is there? He's ran through this division 3 times now.
Yeah, and he keeps talking about wanting to fight up to heavyweight.
Right, and Stipe's fight card is got Daniel Cormier on it for the trilogy. So it really is just kind of like, what do we do? Obviously, and I shared it with the group, and there's a lot, like the hype train on Israel versus Jon is definitely moving, but it's not time yet.
Nope.
And even Israel said that's 2021. He said next year, and that'll give him time to gain because they're 20 pounds. So Israel fights at 185, Jon fights at 205. So there's already 20 pounds there. Then you have to factor in how much weight they actually gain on fight night. Jon probably gets up to about 215, if I had to guess, maybe 220 on fight night. Israel probably walks around at 205 right now to cut down to 185. So I think if he took his time, if he gets Yoel Romero out of the way, which I'm super pumped about, I think that's going to be a great fight. Probably a rematch with Whitaker after that. But who knows? Israel is legit. I think if he took the time to do this properly and gain weight properly, he could really give Jon Jones a lot of problems.
But Jones, didn't he say that he's not interested at all in the Israel fight?
But he keeps talking. Every time he gets the mic in front of him, he's like, he'll still say something. So Israel's in his head. I think that he's going to keep picking at that scab. Yeah. So, but outside of that, I don't know what's left for Jon Jones in the light heavyweight division.
Do you think he'd just take like a random heavyweight fight? I mean, say someone who can bring a little bit of a draw, Derek Lewis or someone.
Those guys are too dangerous. Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou, that's too risky for him.
Yep.
Okay.
He's got to get in there with somebody like Stipe who he could box with, wrestle with.
Sure.
And obviously Stipe is where the money's at. So if for some reason Daniel Cormier decides he's going to retire, which I doubt, he's still pining for that rematch with Stipe. And Stipe's just doing exactly what Daniel did to him. After he beat him, he wanted an immediate rematch, and DC just kept saying, I don't know, I want to try somebody new. But so he said the exact same thing back to him.
Right.
So that fight will happen this summer, I'm sure. And outside of that, I don't see Jon coming up to heavyweight. There's nobody. Everybody's I can't say everybody. There's nobody big enough outside of Stipe that wouldn't knock him out. If they caught him, and he knows that. anybody takes a punch from Derek Lewis or Francis Ngannou. That's good night.
Yeah.
What about
Go to
I'm
bed.
just trying to think of other heavyweights here. Curtis Blades, is he heavyweight?
Yeah,
He's heavyweight.
he just beat Junior Dos Santos. I mean,
Right.
that could happen. And
That'd be a little better of a matchup.
Yeah. I don't see Jon coming up for anything other than the title.
Well, that's what I'm trying to think. Like,
Yeah.
maybe he just messes around in the heavyweight to prove he could be there, you know?
I don't know. I don't know. I think a rematch with Dominic Reyes is probably what's next for him.
Yep.
I think it'll be a good fight.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Jones wins.
Yeah.
Probably-
I didn't see the outrage.
I don't know. I like I said, just as the casual fan, I was just really entertained. It wasn't a slow paced match. It wasn't super fast paced, obviously, but there's plenty of solid contents and got to see some pretty damn good fighting.
He wasn't the Jon
Sure.
Jones of old, that's for sure.
So to throw a little bit of a different spin on it, with Jones's just his athletic ability, I throw him in there with like an Alistair Overeem or whatever, and the lasting ability, heavyweights getting past the second round, they are just absolutely gassed. So if he were to go into the top level, obviously Stipe is up there, but with Cormier and Ngannou, whatever, could he just wait him out and just take them down once they're gassed?
He's fast enough to pull it off.
Yeah,
But
he gets hit one
that's
time.
the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way he wants to do it. Man, I don't know.
You didn't watch any of the other part of the card, did you?
I mean, I did.
Not that you remember.
Yeah. You know what? If Junior Dos Santos hadn't just lost, that's probably the only guy I could see getting in with Jon Jones in the top 10. I could watch Junior because Junior's probably got the best hands in the UFC for boxing. So I could see that fight happening. Outside of that, Stipe or DC. If DC beats Stipe, that's what's up. Like that in a perfect world, that's what happens. DC wins the rematch. Jon Jones comes up, challenges DC for the heavyweight strap. That will sell all the tickets.
Definitely sell the tickets for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Jon Jones has got. I mean, technically, he's 1-0-1 with him because they got that no contest. But let's be honest, Jon won 2 fights against DC, so he's 2 of his 3 losses are Jon.
Did you watch, or do you have any commentary on the women's flyweight championship?
Shevchenko?
Yeah.
I mean, she's
legit.
a fucking killer. Oh yeah.
She's legit.
Oh yeah, she's a killer. Go watch some of her. Was it Muay Thai or kickboxing?
She looks fucking lethal in the cage.
Oh yeah, bro.
She's ripped.
She's wicked. Yeah, wicked kick.
Yeah, I guess that was she had a second round knockout, third round knockout.
That cut she gave her though in the first, that was sliced her open.
Right. I mean, that was a good enough fight. I don't know, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are. I don't know much about her. I've heard a little bit, but she looks. I mean,
the bullet. Yeah, no, she's legit. She's I think her and Amanda Nunes will probably hold both those belts for a while.
Sure. They're not ever going to fight each other, right? They're just.
I don't think Valentina wants any part of that mess.
Yeah, I hear you.
No.
So what about Rogan's comments about the judges? Did you all see that?
I did. I did, and I don't think the judges got this one wrong because I looked at those scorecards too. Oh well, one of them did, but I think what Joe wants, and with the not just the UFC, like all of MMA needs, is retired fighters and retired coaches to be able to come in and judge these fights. They know these people that come in to judge, they don't have to have any kind of prior experience. It's just like they just show up and they can apply for the job, and on top of that, they're going off boxing rules, and this isn't boxing anymore.
Right.
So it's just we would definitely benefit from having retired fighters, and some like a couple of them have. Frank Trigg, he's a retired fighter. I think he went through the legit way, and he's our judge now. But I don't understand why we have these people that have no idea what they're actually watching. And
well, on top of that,
they weren't even watching part of that one fight.
Yeah, in the undercard, they went a solid 30 seconds straight, and Joe Rogan's like, he's still not even watching this fight. What is going on? How can somebody judge without even watching the fight, for God's sakes? Which just speaks to the reason they need MMA judges, people with MMA backgrounds, not boxing backgrounds, not whatever regulatory system is in Texas or whatever. Apparently, they're behind the game on that. But I agree wholeheartedly with Rogan that there just absolutely needs to be more of an MMA background with an overall perspective of truly mixed martial arts.
Have you ever taken a jiu-jitsu class? Like, do you even know what you're looking at?
Yeah.
You'd think they're going to have to listen to somebody like Rogan, right? I mean, if Rogan's bitching about it.
He's been preaching this for years, man.
Yep.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this shows my ignorance. I don't keep up.
Yeah.
Well, and on top of that, I think it's just made more prevalence because of how kind of wildly ridiculous it is. And when you have it live on air where Rogan's commenting about it, and you got the confirmation from the commentator beside him, just about how they're not even paying attention, I think that's going to speak more to needing that regulatory change.
Yeah. We've been seeing this shit for years. I don't think it's going to change.
Different states play by different rules.
But there's not really any states that have stepped their game up and been like, you know what, we're going to do the things different. They all do the same. They don't give a shit. They're getting paid. That revenue's coming in no matter what.
True. How much control does the UFC or Bellator or anybody really, depending on where they're fighting, how much control do they have to say as to who the judges are?
I think they can mix judges and refs, but outside of that, not much. Like,
so it's all up to the commissions.
Like, I don't want that guy to ref any of these fights. Outside of that, I don't, because they're not. It's separate organizations. So,
Nebraska does and has the ability, and they've even done it to UFC events before.
What are we looking forward to down the UFC pike here? What for as the casual fans? Speak to the casual fan, Marco.
I believe up next we have is next month. No, March. Have they announced that one yet?
I have no idea.
March 7th. So I'm looking at it. The middleweight main event is Yoel Romero versus Israel.
Yeah. That's what we were just talking about. Super excited about that. Nobody chooses to fight Yoel Romero. Like, if you're listening to this and you don't know who Yoel Romero is, Google Yoel Romero. This guy is a freak of freaking nature. He's Cuban. He's basically a laboratory specimen bred for wrestling for the Cuban wrestling team. He's a monster in the cage. He's 13-4, and I think he's got at least 12 of those. 11 of those are knockouts. So nobody basically ever wants to fight him. Israel, I was telling you, called him out, and that's Style Bender. He's my favorite new fighter to watch. Well, he's not new, but he's my favorite fighter to watch as of lately. He's Anderson Silva 2.0. And I'm excited for that for sure. That is T-Mobile, so in Vegas. I don't know, super excited about that. They got the Chinese lady Li Zhang, I believe, fighting JJ Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And
the title, strawweight.
Coleman, strawweight. And then Robert Whitaker is third fight in. So, yeah, we got a pretty good card on that one. But that main event, that's all I really care about.
Who's
Israel
fighting? Anyone I would know?
Jared Cannonier.
Carnier?
Yeah.
I've heard of him. Is he? I mean, I don't. This isn't a racist comment, but he's like the really, really, really dark guy, right?
Super dark.
Very.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've watched him fight once before.
Yep.
Did you guys see that Wei Zhang for the co-main? She actually already came over from China because the coronavirus. She's like, screw this shit, man. I'm gonna go to Vegas now.
Yep. Seen that they came like what was it, 6 weeks early or something?
Yeah.
Yep. So that is March 7th.
Yep.
Super stoked about that one. After that, we got Khabib Tony.
Yep.
That's gonna be a fun one. We should try to do like a viewing party or something.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I think that would be fun as shit. I think that's gonna be a hell of a fight.
I don't think Tony's gonna make it.
I don't see Tony winning. But
No,
I think
I'm
it's
saying
gonna
I
be
mean-
competitive.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I don't think Tony's gonna make it to the fight.
What?
Due to weight?
I think
You think he's not gonna make weight?
I think this is gonna get canceled for the 5th time. I think this thing is doomed.
Really?
Yeah,
What timely demise do you think
Sound
can
like-
happen this time?
I'm
You
just
sound like
telling
you
you
have
guys.
two.
I'm just telling you guys. Whenever I say shit like this, I'm right. Okay. I concede that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes did it. But I did say
Broke the Madden curse.
I did say
He
that
would
he
get
would
injured.
get the season and he would sit, and he did. I also said that Zion Williamson would get, or whatever, is Williamson? Yeah. I predicted he would get
Watson,
hurt. He did.
Deshaun Watson.
He
No,
would've got hurt that night.
Zion, that guy.
Oh,
I predicted he would get hurt, and he did, but it was off season. So I'm just saying, I don't think that fight's going to happen. I have a feeling, and Justin Gaethje will step in. He already said that he's
That's a
in.
shit fight.
No, I don't think so. I think Justin Gaethje and Khabib would be fun.
I hope you're right.
If that doesn't happen, and we can't do this without talking about Conor, I think that sometime within the next 3 months we see either Conor versus Gaethje, or they set up Conor versus Nate Diaz, number 3. Masvidal's tied up. Khabib fights in April. So the thing here is Khabib is Muslim, right? I think, yeah, or something, yeah. And then they have Ramadan after his fight, so he's out. And Conor wants to stay busy. So if he does win that fight, he's going to be out for however many months. So Conor's got to get a fight before that happens. And then if he wins that fight, then he'll go off. And whenever Khabib is done with his religious holiday, then I think they make that fight happen.
For once in the history of this show, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just hope you're wrong about Tony not making the fight, but I see where you're coming from.
No, I don't think it happens. Not just because he
I
blocked
thought you
me
were
on Twitter.
talking about- I thought you were talking about some like scoop you've got. Like, I don't know if your brother's catching wind of shit in the gym or what.
No, that guy, he's been now he's into he's doing the Henzo Jiu-Jitsu gym, and he's also doing Muay Thai somewhere. So he's getting all the traditional arts in.
You think he's ever just going to come back to Iowa and just fuck you up just for the fun of it?
If anything,
he'll be Barry at that point. If so,
if
he's gonna turn into
anything,
Barry.
he's just gonna wait for me to come visit him before his fight, and he's gonna warm up on me.
Nah, that's fair.
I could see that happening.
I just have it in my head that he's gonna come back to Iowa one time. Barry's gonna come out, 16 White Claws deep. Gets the Bud Light seltzers in him. Maybe he even goes crazy and tries one of the Four Loko seltzers. And then
Way too Mexican for me.
your brother just has to put you down.
Speaking of which, shout out to my brother and my sister-in-law and my niece. They sent this for Bree. It's some Moscato Rosé, but she doesn't drink this shit, so I do, and I'm celebrating. So I'm gonna have a little thank you, Michael and Tina and Sophia for the bottle, and I hope your training's going well. And cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Welcome, Barry.
What's the job, brother?
Well, we just got the fiber optic internet coming through the Quad Cities here, MetroNet. And there's a company that, well, it's kind of shady the way this shit happened, but it wouldn't be shady if it wasn't me, right?
Right.
These guys are from St. Louis, and they're staying at our hotel where I was still currently working for the next 2 weeks as of today.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So they're working here, and I heard them over. They were talking about trying to get a local crew. So I immediately started talking to the guy and told him that I was interested in. It's just installing lines, fiber optic lines on the telephone poles. But I talked to him on Friday. He said he would talk to his partner. His partner called me on Saturday, and then they offered me a job that morning over the phone.
Is it union?
No.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I will actually work.
Yeah, I can. I think we're gonna work 4 12s for a while, which is cool with me. And then in the summer I'll get more hours. And it sounds like I don't like to work in the same place all the time. Like I couldn't do factory work or nothing like that. I like to do construction. So this is just me being outside, either driving a bucket truck in the bucket or running lines on the ground. So I was all in.
So you're done helping out with your dad's company for now?
I'll probably still help him out on if I don't work Friday and the weekends. So, but yeah, he's super stoked for me too. He's pretty happy about it.
How long is this project going to be in Iowa?
So MetroNet just ordered 3.5 million feet worth of fiber, and they said that's going to last 5 years. And then that's not even including, that's only 3 of the 5 quad cities.
Wow.
The hell does that mean?
Well, on the Iowa side, there's Davenport, Bettendorf, but on the Illinois side, it's Rock Island, Moline, and East Moline.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, but it's called the Quad Cities, so you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah, okay.
So
you're going to get that employee discount, or are you just a contractor?
I will just be a contractor, and I don't think so. I'm actually in Eldridge, which is about 10 miles north of Davenport, and I don't think they're going to be out here for a while. So I'm stuck with fucking MediaCom, and they suck.
Okay, don't bitch. I'm running this shit off of
yeah, I mean,
hotspot, man.
I'm talking about fiber optics, and you've got a fucking hamster and a wheel over there.
Yeah, we got a fucking hamster wheel up in the attic power in this thing. That's why if you ever hear my voice lag out, I'm not getting enough G's.
Give me them 3 Gs.
No, literally, this thing runs on 3G. The host of the Anomalies has the worst internet. It's not good.
Well, this rosé is.
I'm happy for you, Marco. That's cool. And 5 years, that puts you just shy of retirement time. So hopefully you get a little.
Fuck off.
He's gonna have to support that.
Fuck yourself. That's what it was.
Oh man. Well, speaking of exciting new things, we do have an XFL team. We did it in about the most Anomalies way ever. The way we picked it, we decided since we all have a different NFL team and we always fight about those, we're going to be united on the front of an XFL team. And the way we voted ended up in a tie, and then we had about 6 different ways to finally split the tie. And well, now we're Tampa Bay Vipers fans. And they got their shit kicked in and scored 3 points in week 1. So, honestly, we should have taken the bet that they would have just lost and made a bunch of money. We should have known that was coming, but what do we know?
We pulled a Marco on that one.
Seriously.
There's glimmer of hope. Our third string quarterback seems decent, though.
The third string quarterback?
Yeah, that Flowers guy.
Yeah, Flowers.
Well,
It-
they have that option to do 2 forward passes, and I can't remember
True.
which one it was. One was a running back / quarterback from college, and so it's like it's like an Antoine Randall. It's like if you got somebody who can run but also throw the ball, hey, line him up in the backfield, throw him the ball, and if he needs to throw it again, go for it.
Yeah, I wanna see these XFL rules really get put into play. I liked what I saw in week 1. I don't know if you guys watched any games. The way Marco is staring blankly at me makes me think he didn't watch any games. You just go ahead and enjoy that birthday, buddy.
I saw Pat McAfee's highlights from the Dallas game. And I saw the punt gone wrong.
Oh,
Marquette King, Marquette.
That was so. And I know how football works a little bit, but I knew as soon as he touched that ball, I was like, "Oh no!" Yeah, that was terrible. How many yards would that have ended up being?
I think it was like 68 net or something like that. If it would have landed,
Put it on that half-yard line. That's more
and that
important.
thing was done rolling. It was like just gently rocking, and then you know what? There's a reason that guy's in the fucking XFL, and that's what happens. That's what happens to people who play in the XFL are allowed to make plays, and there we go.
Well,
But
they
I
move it
feel-
out to the 35-yard line, right? If it's a touchback, it's to the 35.
35, yeah.
Yeah.
The only time I saw people bitching was about the kickoff rules. You know, they line 10 blockers up 10 yards away from 10 rushers, essentially. And the kicker is way back at the normal 35 or whatever, and then there's one receiver. People were bitching about it. That made me think of, I mean, I don't want to say it's like a swear word, but you're right. Like, I feel like that's Civil War guys going to battle. They just line up that fucking close, no muskets, and then just sprint at each other.
Get the
But
fucking
you
red
know-
coats.
The first time a
So you're
returner,
talking about like Braveheart.
Yes.
Yeah. yes,
Minus the guerrilla warfare. Just
Great
line them
reference
up.
there.
Gorilla. I see what you did there.
You know, though, the first time a returner cracks through that line, it's going to be electric. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to hear McAfee calling that because if he gets through that, honestly, that returner doesn't have to get just past the 10 or 11 people on the kickoff. He's got to get through his own guys. That's a lot of bodies to be jumping around, and they're all on within 10 yards. So that's going to be funner as hell. I can't wait to see it happen.
Well, on top of that, your last-ditch effort is the kickoff guy versus the returner. And
Yeah.
just imagine if the kickoff guy gets a tackle against the returner. Oh, that'll be more
Or
exciting.
levels
than a
them
touchdown.
like Trendon Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked watching it. It was something different. I liked the commentary. I liked how there was people on the field and in the huddle and interviewing players.
Literally
and
on the field. I saw a picture or something, and Pat's like out in the middle of the field while the plays are happening.
Yeah, he was getting yelled at to get off the field. Which what else would we expect? I just really enjoyed it. It was. I think anyone that went in there with a very critical mindset was obviously not going to like it and not have fun. But I watched, I think, 3 of the 4 games. Not all of them because I had other shit to do, but I paid good enough attention. They were entertaining. They caught my attention. I'm going to watch week 2. I don't know what you guys all think, but I liked it.
I agree. The one thing that was pointed out, I was listening on the radio today. You got to imagine, like week 1 football in the NFL is not the best football in the world either.
Yes, that's a
So
great.
it's kind of one of those things where it's only going to get better the more that the team starts to gel, the more that the line gets put together, the more that people work together. So it's going to be better football throughout the season as well, which I think speaks well to it. The one downside to me from a perspective on the kickoffs is when you see everybody running and you have the clash kind of somewhere 2/3 of the way down. From a visual standpoint, I think that speaks really well. Just to see people lined up it kind of sounds antiquated, kind of like what you were pointing out to the, the Braveheart reference or whatever. So it's kind of one of those. It's kind of one of those things that, from a visual standpoint, it's just different. But I think it'll be exciting as soon as people start to figure out, maybe, get the lines to shift everybody to one side and create gaps, and then it's just a one-on-one. And who knows what kind of a kicker you get back there. If you just get somebody with a strong leg that doesn't really care where it goes, who cares? If he can tackle somebody, he's quick and whatever. So it's kind of one of those things. There'll be some different kinds of strategy behind it. So I'm excited to see something break off in week 2, week 3, week 4 when they start to gel. So I'm excited for that.
Did you watch any games, TA?
I watched all 4 of them.
Look at you, super fan.
And they weren't that bad, especially the 10-minute halves. That's a big plus. You're not waiting a half hour to get back to football.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's always nice.
Well, and speeding up the game from 40-second clock to 25 seconds for each play.
Oh, the biggest thing was the replays. Did you guys catch that?
Yes.
Full transparency. If the NFL is not taking notes right now, they are the dumbest professional sports league in the world. You heard from the minute the coach challenged until the minute or to the second that the referee made the decision. You heard the behind-the-scenes shit up in the booth. You heard the communication between the guys in the booth to the referees. You heard the explanations of the coaches. I thought that was so cool. Even if they got it wrong, they're still explaining where they're coming from. I can deal with that. I can deal with any bad call or great call. I can deal with that. That was really cool.
As long as there's a reason behind it. But it seems like in the NFL,
it's a mystery.
Nobody knows. And it's almost like, they're doing it just to prove a point. And I don't know if there's a referees union. I think there actually is a referees union for the NFL.
Yeah,
and
I think
so. I don't think it'll ever get through with that bullshit, unless they just lock them out again, and then we end up with the Packers and all that bullshit. So it's kind of one of those things. I think everybody in the world would love to see it, except for the referees in the NFL. But even so, if you're a referee in the NFL, you should want people to know what your thought process is to justify why you're making the decision, other than just being slammed every fucking week.
If I was watching the one game with my dad, and it was when a player got ejected. First ever ejection in the XFL. A guy punched, I think, a defensive lineman, the offensive lineman. And the first thing he said, because you heard the explanation, you heard the review from the booth and everything. The first thing he said was, "Imagine if we had this shit when Myles Garrett held the ball to that guy from the Steelers." And I was just blown away. First of all, I didn't think my dad was that smart. Second of all, that was a genius comment. Imagine if we had to hear what the officials had to say. We would have heard first probably 30 seconds of bleep, 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 bleep. And then well, that dumb motherfucker's never going to play a motherfucking game again. I mean, that's probably what we would have heard. That would have been awesome. I don't know. The NFL would probably double its viewership if it just gave the behind-the-scenes look at it, because so many people are interested in that. The how do you get to the decision, and then if they could get to the business side of things. I think the NFL is so interesting. They just got to give the people what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The XFL is doing some good things.
I thought it was super interesting. One replay official was using an Xbox controller.
Yes.
Timing device.
That was cool.
That was dope.
You know what was awesome? Not one mention of the name Vince McMahon or sight of his ugly mug.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Wild. As the owner of all of the teams, he owns the entire league.
Right.
And,
I thought that was great.
Well, and they had so many more cameras everywhere, which is great. The camera angles they got, the production, I think there's still some work to be made to really truly make it elite from a camera perspective. I think that's something that the NFL could also take note of, is just more cameras is better. Get cameras from both sides of the field, from top, from bottom, left, right, whatever, which is great. It was, from my perspective, hearing the coaches, the transparency of the coaches calling in plays was a little odd to me.
Yeah, that was confusing. I think it could get cleaned up, but it was confusing.
Yeah, well, and I think sometimes the joy of seeing the NFL is like, well, what are they going to do next? Because we're all our best coach, right? We know our team's best. We know what they should do until they actually do something completely different that ends up way better because they're NFL coaches and we're not. But from a fan's perspective, having a little bit of mystery on the play side and not really knowing what could happen or whatever, I think leaves a little bit left to our imagination, which I find to be maybe a little bit of a benefit to the NFL.
Right. So we're sticking with the Tampa Bay Vipers. That's our team, at least for the year, let's say.
Minus
But
that rat fucking
You guys are
Brian.
making me stick with the Browns, but we can't ditch the Vipers.
You cut out. What was that?
You guys are trying to get me to not stick with the Browns, and we have to stick with the Vipers.
I never said you should ditch the team.
No, that was Ronnie.
Fucking Ronnie. I don't think it's time. We can't give up on the Vipers yet. There's a little hope. They look pretty bad though. I'm hoping we just played the best team in the league. Because honestly, let's face it, the New York Guardians could probably beat the Browns.
Odds. It's odd too, because like they're like the second to last team in terms of odds.
Yeah, biggest upset in XFL history, they said. The week one upset. Brian Champagne, he keeps talking shit, saying he's rooting for the Renegade from Dallas.
But didn't they lose?
They got their shit pushed into. So, you know what, Brian, welcome back to mediocrity.
Just like the Cowboys.
Classic Dallas.
Right.
Stoops.
Right.
Wheel.
The hell else did I have for us to talk about? I thought I had something else. This is a good host. You guys got you guys. I don't know if you followed along on Twitter. I know some of our listeners did. The Zillion Beers movement. This is where I wish we had Ronnie, because he was definitely a diehard Stewie back in the Saturdays or for the boys days. And if any of you were, please say something. I just don't think any of you were. But I
remember Saturdays are for the boys, but that's I just remember hashtag
SAFTV,
whatever.
Yeah. That's all I pretty much knew it as. I wasn't on Twitter as much in college, but it was big. You know, we had the Flegs and we went on spring break. You know, we did the shit. I didn't understand it all. If I would have been on Twitter, it would have probably been a big movement. But watching Dana B, who I have always thought was a douchebag, just because he was with the Chicklets guys and whatever. But since Brandon Walker's came around, he's been like the producer for a lot of the gambling stuff. I've thought he was funny. Watching him go on radio on Friday and then challenge Portnoy, I just love it whenever there's controversy with Portnoy. And then this weekend when he started doing the merch push, holy shit, that was fun to just watch. It felt like I was watching a grassroots movement.
Completely agreed. With he's a producer. He's behind the scenes. He gets called out by Dave, and then he just stands up for himself. Like, for people to stand up for Dave, to Dave, excuse me. That's something that not a lot of people within the company or really anybody does. Nobody stands up to their boss and says, "Hey, I fucking believe in this movement. Let's go." Challenge accepted. I think it was very entertaining, fun to watch, and I'm excited.
Does he get to the million though?
I think he's gonna. Did you see the new merch that came out today? I mean,
I haven't.
That Zilly shirt. That's dope. I'm probably gonna have to buy one.
I want one.
Yeah.
And his plan is to get some pretty big celebrities. He had Tom Brady DMing the Barstool Sports Instagram account about one of the shirts. He's going to get some celebrity recognition, I think, and that's what's going to push him over. It'll probably be like on Sunday though when he gets it.
Yeah. What would you do with a 100K payday? Just 100K. Here you go. Here's a check.
I say fuck that check. Give me cash, bitch.
Okay, then Marco gets 2 front teeth out, so there goes 20K getting his teeth fixed. If I got 100K, that's a great question, Flegs. Get 100K. I think I'm just gonna throw half in like an investment account. Probably
Penn.
put it on
Shout out Penn. Yep.
Jesus,
Yep.
we are making money on that stock. Yeah, just so everyone knows, we listen plenty, or we talk plenty about the Penn National Gambling stock, and that's about it. That's all the Anomalies cares about for investments.
401k retirement, throw it at Penn right now.
Right. Yep.
30 years, you'll be golden.
And then I'm throwing half in an account for that. I think the other half, I'm probably just gonna spend it frivolously on whatever the fuck I could think of. Just probably a new 4-wheeler. No cows. That's not frivolously. I'd probably pay for an Anomalies meetup. Get a good old fashioned trip. We have to go somewhere obscure, and since Tyler lives in Nebraska, that's not obscure enough. So,
like Montana or something.
Salt Lake City, Utah, Boise, Idaho came to mind. Helena, Montana. Ooh, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's where I'm picking. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We can all fly there super cheap. I guarantee it.
We'll have Vinatieri.
Well, you could drive, whatever. I'm just trying to think of fun trips. That's what I'd do. I'd just pay for an Anomalies meetup week, not weekend. You guys are all taking the PTO. Final answer.
TA, what are you doing, Bob?
40 grand on student loans and paying my car off. And then probably have 10 grand to blow, and then the other 50 I'd buy pet stock.
Okay, sounds good. Marco's investing in the vitamins.
Claws, dude.
Claws and vitamins. And I'm about the same. Pay off some debt bullshit. And then invest in the CBD.
Go fuck yourself, Marco. You didn't even get the answer.
Property.
All right.
I'd invested in property.
What would Barry invest in?
Also property. That's where we aligned. That's actually where we met. We're both looking at a house.
You met at property? Yeah, weird.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I think no matter what kind of money I had, if I had 100,000 or 100 million, I still, people are always going to need a place to live. Property is just a smart way to go.
This is so boring, I'm sure, for our listeners, but I am looking at buying a couple duplexes and keeping my rental properties.
That a boy.
Yep. And I know how to do all the work on the houses that I end up with, so just quicker turnaround. I actually thought about, TA, you should know, you got a friend that went to St. Ambrose, but St. Ambrose and the Palmer Chiropractic are 6 blocks from each other, and all of the houses between the two of them are really old, big houses that you can pick up for 20, 30 grand because they're all run down. But if you get in there, flip them around, and you're putting college kids in there paying per room, that's where all your money's at. So,
I got to party in a couple of them. They're fun.
You know what I'm talking about.
Near that campus in Davenport, Iowa, and boy, are we talking to a real niche community of listeners here. So shout out to all 4 of you. But every single house from the road to the front door, you have to walk up a set of steps. I don't know why, but everyone's front lawn is on a goddamn hill. It's the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life.
You ain't lying.
It's just disgusting. I don't know what it is with that city or that part of the city, but it was disgusting. Thinking about mowing that just made my back and ankles hurt.
That's a really random description.
Well, when you had to walk them drunk, it sticks with you.
But if you're hosting a party, it's an easy way to roll people out to the street and get them off your property.
True. I did think immediately that it would be a great place for a slip and slide if you did it right.
Right into the busy street. Good idea.
No. You put up a big pool on the sidewalk, so you just face plant into that. Go.
Duh.
Barry's water slides. Marco hasn't.
Apparently, I wasn't there for Natter Day.
We were crushing Natter It's actually the first time I was down there. Well, I think that's everything we had to talk about. I just wondering if you guys wanted to do local shit shows. You guys got anything? I don't have one this week. It's been a slow week in Wisconsin.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a shit show, but I did see something very interesting. They are doing a Yankees White Sox game at Field of Dreams here in Dyersville, Iowa, on my birthday in August. So
isn't that field too small for MLB?
They are prepping it now for that. So
is it a preseason game or a regular season?
No, middle of August. It's a regular game. So it's
really?
I believe it was White Sox Yankees.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So here in Field of Dreams. So I don't know if I'm actually going, but that's not necessarily a shit show, but it is kind of weird. I mean, it is small. I haven't ever been there, but if you've ever seen the movie 10 times like I have, it's not very big. So
no, I went there once. Yeah, you're right. It's not that big. It's going to be a pretty intimate thing because I can probably see a few thousand.
Yeah, that's going to be insane. I mean, the Chicago traffic alone is going to just be insane coming over for that because I don't know how far Dyersville is to Chicago, but it can't be more than 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of those, and then I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people flying in for that just to be there, to say they were there and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So.
Okay, anyway. So Tanner, as the resident farmer, Aaron Judge gets a hold of a fastball mid-waist, just takes it deep. First off, what's the distance between corn rows? We're looking at 18 inches, 16 inches?
30 inches. So between rows, it's typically 30 inches.
30 inches. So how many rows he going deep into the cornfield if he gets a hold of one?
Let's call it a 300-foot fence in left field, just for easy math. Let me think here. I'm going to have to use a calculator. Hold on. Let's say he hits it 450. That's 150 feet divided by 150 feet times 12 inches divided by 30. It's going 60 rows deep, my friends. That's Jesus Christ. That's 10 passes of a 6-row planter. That's that's a lot of that. That would take a few hours to plant, and he passed that time in about 3 seconds. What a question. I was not prepared for that.
You were quick on the math, though. I appreciate that.
I try.
3.5 hours from Chicago, by the way. So either way, there's going to be a lot of White Sox fans there.
Right. TA, Flegs, you got a local shit show? Local baseball update?
Nope.
Negative, Watson.
We had, was it 240 listens on our last podcast? Thank you to all of you.
Yeah, that was fun. We really like having Brant on, and I think it shows he has some really great chemistry with us. That's doing good numbers.
Barry's going to get up on stage.
Barry's getting up on stage. Boy, we're coming down to the 30-day mark. 30.
Clock is ticking.
I'm not good at math with February, but it's like 35 days.
Yeah, I really got to sit down and start writing something.
So next episode, we want to just hear an outline. You don't have to say jokes. Just say we need the bullet points. We need 5 bullet points, Marco, of your stand-up. Can we hold you to that?
Okay.
All right. You guys heard it here first. We as a podcast are going to get this bastard on one way or another through public humiliation.
Here's a tip. Listen to the professional comedian and do what he says.
It's true. We should see if we can get Sean on because it's only fair. You've had some advice from British Will, stand-up extraordinaire. You've had some really, really good advice from Brant Tobler, and I think getting Sean on, he'd give you a little confidence boost.
I actually thought about reaching out to him today, so that might not be a bad idea. Also, I'll be seeing Todd in 3 weeks.
Cedar Rapids?
Oh, actually, plans changed. I'm going to go to Springfield and meet up with Brian in Champaign.
Oh, that's right.
There you go.
So that's about a week before you go on stage. So
it's 2.5 weeks before I go on stage.
Right.
So get together with Todd, open for Todd, do 5 minutes for Todd, right?
That wouldn't be a bad idea, Marco. Do the British Will approach like British Will do with Sean.
I don't think I'll be ready by then.
Oh, come on.
No.
I think you can do it. Just go for it.
All right, let's not let Marco forget. We need 5 bullet points for that stand-up act. I don't care if you get on with Todd. You for sure got to see him though, and get some advice from him. If you get him on the podcast, I'll be buying you the White Claws. How about that?
You mean you're buying them for Barry?
Yes.
Well, I think Marco might even indulge.
I'll take them.
All right. Well, we got some big stuff popping here. We really appreciate you guys for rocking with us. As always, we are presented by Pro Sports Extra at Pro Sports Extra on Twitter, Instagram, all the socials. They're putting together pretty good cast of characters there. So follow the blog, keep up on the social and whatnot.
Also, 240 listens, but we don't have 240 followers on Twitter. I would drop that Twitter handle, but I apparently fuck it up all the time.
No, go for it. Go ahead.
_ Anomalies.
That boy.
Right.
It's not under dash. I was a little high that day.
I think as for the listeners as well, kind of keep your eye out. We might be exploring the idea of some merch. That's another thing we might have to hold old Barry to, but we're exploring that idea. So if you guys and gals have any ideas for what you want to see for merch, we say plenty of stupid stuff. So please reach out. We'd love to find a way to get our ugly mugs or our stupid sayings on your t-shirts. But we're gonna wrap up. As for the Anomalies, we got Marco in Iowa at K Pasta Primo, Tyler Allen at Tyler Allen, our boy TA out in Nebraska. And if you ever do interact with TA, you just say thanks because that guy works his ass off to bring these podcasts to you. We give him such mediocre content, but he somehow makes them funny. So thank you so much for doing that, TA. Yes, he fucking bows. And we have new co-host, longtime friend of the show. He's going to be around for the long haul now. At JJ Flegel, our boy Flegs down in Indy. Thanks for coming on, man. We really look forward to what we're going to build with you. At Trashman Ronnie, he's still very much part of the Anomalies. He is just working his tail off back home, taking care of shit on the home front. So we miss you, brother. Can't wait to have you back on. And we are the Anomalies at the _Dash Anomalies. Thanks for rocking with us. We are out of here.
Adios. My llama's name is Barry.
I'm so sorry,
Brian. Is he?
Oh, God. I'm so sorry,
Brian.